Okay, I think we are on. So, hi guys. We're here to conduct the general hangout. My name is Malvika. I'm gonna let these people introduce themselves as well. Hi guys. We're here to conduct general hangout. My name is Malvika. I'm gonna let these people introduce themselves as well. Hi guys. We're here to conduct general hangout. My name is Malvika. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna let these people introduce themselves. Hi guys.
We can start right now.
Yeah, you start introducing them.
So, hi, I'm Hari Pawan. So, I'm doing my master's in QCF. It's like quantitative and computational finance. So, so I live in 935 apartments. So, let's start.
Hi, I'm Sanya, and I'm doing my master's in electronics and computer engineering, electrical and computer engineering, and I stay in local on 14th Street. Let's go to Venkat.
Hi, my name is Venkat. I'm doing my master's in structural engineering, and I also live in local.
So hi guys, like I said, I'm Malvika. I'm doing my PhD in mechanical engineering, and I live at the Exchange. We also have Manoj here.
Hi guys, I'm Manoj. I'm doing my PhD in computer science, and I completed my master's in ECE, and I live in the Exchange. Guys, I'm Manoj. I'm doing.
Okay, so can somebody confirm if the audio has been fixed? Okay, so all right, perfect. So I guess we can start like by talking about like general topics, like start off with I-20 visa interview process. So anybody like wants to talk about it?
So first of all, you guys must have received I-20 by now. If you have not, you will receive it soon, so don't panic. Next thing is after getting your I-20, there'll be a date given in the I-20, which will be your commencement date when your college will start. Before 120 days of that only you can apply for visa. So for that, you'll have to pay service fees, first of all, TS 160, and then you can only book your visa. And before, along with visa, you're supposed to book 2 dates. One of them will be OFC, visit date, and another one will be actual interview date. In OFC date, you'll actually supposed to they'll take an image of you, give fingerprints and stuff like that. Just for clarification, you do not need to prepare anything, just take your documents. Visa interview, you need to be very careful in what you are speaking, and at the same time keep it short. We'll discuss it further if you have further questions regarding this. Moving on.
So for I-20, I guess you guys already should have submitted the financial documents for supporting your college fees and everything. I hope that is done, and that will be enough for you to support you in the interview process, in visa interview also. What else next?
So in the visa interview, they also ask a couple of questions as to why you're coming for MS and what you were doing before that and what you will be doing after that also. So just make sure you're clear in your head as to what you want to say. Just practice it a couple of times. You get a lot of questions on Google itself. Just Google and make sure you know the answers. And more importantly, be cool. You don't have to panic or anything, and answer the questions calmly.
Yeah, so one other tip that I give you is just answer exactly what they ask. Do not give them extra information. It's like digging your own grave. So also what I did was I marked every page of each document where exactly all my documents are, so that when they ask for a document, I can go to that tab and quickly give them what they need. So be very prepared and ask somebody to like give you mock questions, like your parents or somebody, and then practice it like a few times. Be calm and it should all be fine. So I think we have some questions regarding this topic. So the first question is, do you recommend submitting the DS 160 before my I-20 arrives? Asked by Anant Joshi.
So it always depends. So when I actually booked my visa interview before my I-20 arrived, because my department has given me a late approval of my thing. So I got my I-20 in June. So by that time the visa dates are already delayed, like by July end. So whenever I got an email, I just booked my book my visa interview, and DS-160, I filled my form. But it totally depends on you. Check the visa dates, how the visa dates are available. If it's going to, if it's like after July mid and everything, so try to book a slot. Like if it's fine, like it's still in June end or like July starting, it's fine. If you get the mail that like this is your service ID and everything, then it's fine. Like if the visa interview dates are too screwed and like it's far after July, then try to book it with that. I guess it will be fine. It totally depends on you again.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. So do
Also,
we-
like there are some questions about like when will you get I-20 from OAE and like when will you get the I-20 from department and stuff.
so yeah, go.
So the thing is, we really can't actually tell when you will get your I-20. It is dependent upon a lot of logistical things of how the department works and how things work. So that is a question we really can't answer. All we can tell you is most of us got our I-20s the third or second week of May. So anytime soon.
So yeah, some people got in June as well. So the good news is, like, if you have the email from OIE saying your I-20 has been processed, then you can like, yeah, and then you can like be kind of relieved. And then you have to follow the instructions in the email, which will probably tell you to contact your department to have to have them send you the I-20. So you have to do that, and if you do that, only you will get it. So make sure you look out for emails. And yeah, so like somebody said, they got it in June as well. So be patient and it'll be fine.
Yes, there are a few cases. Even
We have to
GA.
read out the question.
Okay. So the question is like, are there any known cases of GA Tech admit student being rejected a visa? So yes, there are few cases. Even Georgia Tech students being rejected. It's not dependent on the college or anything, university or anything. It all depends on how confident you are in the interview and how you answer the questions and everything. So how your financial documents are like, and how you are like confident enough to answer every question of interview.
But it's not a usual case. Usually, Georgia Tech people get their
Easily.
visa accepted kinda easily.
Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Like
Okay, so
Maybe
let's
next
move
topic.
to the next topic, which is tickets to Atlanta. So anybody wants to share their experiences?
So you guys might have already had a lot of like WhatsApp group for Bangalore, Hyderabad, etc. So people usually book together. One thing is that you're coming to a far off place. So if you have people you know with you, it'll be easier for you. And one more thing is that Qatar actually offers one more extra baggage. So you'll have 3 into 23 in case of Qatar. You will get Emirates also. So I would suggest personally to go for that because you need a lot of items. You need crockery and everything like that. So it will really helpful.
Even Turkish airline offers 3 baggage.
So it all depends on the airline. Just give a call, like saying that you're the first time student coming to US. So many of the airlines actually offer 3 bags, like, but do it before you actually book the ticket. Like once you have booked the ticket, there is no possibility that they might increase or not. So I don't know whether you require 3 baggages or not. Like 2 baggages are more than enough. I'm fine with 2 baggages and 1 cabin baggage also.
No, some people like 3 bags.
It all
It depends on.
So if you have a good roommate, like just divide the crockery and everything. Like you guys bring this, you guys bring that. Like so, it all depends on how your roommates are, like how you team up with them and everything. So regarding the location, try to find out at least one guy who is joining Georgia Tech or someone. So try to book with at least 2 to 3 people so that you have like good time with them and you can understand others. You get to know other people over there. At least your roommates if they are coming from the same place.
And try to book your tickets as soon as possible because later on the prices will skyrocket because everybody is coming to university, is going to their own university.
So I guess this thing is that they don't have their I-20 and so it's
And-
again your call.
And
So
one more thing is
Yeah.
like you are not sure about like your visa interview and you are confused about whether to book the ticket or not. So it all depends on you again, like how confident you are. Like so, I booked my flight ticket before my visa interview is
Right.
done. So it all depends on you if you are confident enough to crack the visa interview. I mean, it's not an issue. Also, just be confident. I mean, you can crack it. So you can always book it.
Okay,
so what
Oh.
is there's a question by Shivam Sharma. What is the impact of saying that we might be interested in pursuing PhD after our masters in visa interview? First of all, they may not ask you that, but there is no impact of that. They're totally cool with people coming and studying more. So they will only have a problem if you talk about you staying here for an extended period of time, settling down here and stuff like that. So as long as you say I'm going to do higher studies, that's fine, and don't say that unless they ask you that.
Okay, so let's move on to
The safe
So-
answer is undecided also. Yeah, it's a safe answer.
I think there are some specific questions about like what do I answer for this question and stuff, but I think like it's best to like so we don't know exactly like what the all possible options in the questions. So it's best if you can like
Which question?
say this.
Okay, so the question is from Rahul Saranjame. If you've resigned already and they ask you in the visa interview, why are you no longer working? Is that going to be an issue? No, I mean, if you tell the truth, but it's just the truth, right? If you've said that you're still working, but then somehow you've resigned and they're asking you why you said this and why is it written something else, then only they'll ask you to clarify. They're not going to penalize you for resigning a job. It's kind of none of their business as long as they know where all your money is coming from and stuff like that, and it's all clear, and then you should not have any problems.
So I'll answer this question. So I also resigned my job like 2 months before, and then before my visa interview itself, I gave my resignation and everything. So it's not an issue at all. Just say that I want to spend some time with my parents, or like I want to spend some time before going to the university, like preparing yourself or something. So that will be not an issue at all. Like just be truthful and just be confident enough. Like, that's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay.
Don't sound overconfident person.
So
No,
next question is
So Rahul have asked a question like, won't sound like overconfident enough. You're going to be assuming that you got the visa. It's fine. Like that's not an overconfidence. You can just frame an answer saying that like I want to be with my parents. I want to spend some time preparing for my university or something. Just relate something to your university or something, academics or something. That's fine.
these things are common, right? These things are very common that people resign and go. And it's a fair answer. Just tell the truth. As long as you tell the truth, they can actually kind of detect people. Their speciality is also like to detect people who are frank and differentiate them from people who are trying to con other people. So as long as you be truthful and simple, you'll get through. Just don't make up stories. That's all.
So Saki is asking like if one has stipend and scholarship from PhD, how much they still need to show the financial documents.
Okay, so if you have the stipend and scholarship, you don't have to show any financial
Oh
documents.
no, actually like it depends on how much stipend you are getting.
Right.
Say if the stipend covers the whole amount that your I-20 indicates, then you need not show anything. So basically your I-20 will show like, okay, so this is the estimated expense and this is the estimated income because you are a GRA, GTR or whatever. So if there is a difference, you need to show the difference. If there is no difference, then you not show anything.
Right. So basically, to summarize, if the amount that you're getting covers the entire amount that's needed for I-20, you don't have to show anything. If it's less than that, then you have to show the rest of the money. Okay, next question is from, we'll come back to apartments later. So from Pranav Kulkarni, is there any truth in the common notion that we should show 1.5 times the I-20 amount during the visa interview?
It's nothing. I mean, it's not like any truth or something. We just show 1.5 times because, like, if you're a graduate student, you graduate in 1.5 years. So the I-20 generally comes for a 1 year bracket. So they generally prefer to show like 1.5 times the amount so that you'll be covering for 1.5 years. It's just in the safe perspective, not like it's a fixed thing, like you need to show 1.5 times like that or something. It will be good enough, like if you show 1.5 times, then he will be like, okay, he's covering whole master's experience, whole master's, he'll be covering the fees and everything.
So I didn't show 1.5, I just showed the 67K, and actually the interviewer asked me what I'll do for the last 1 year. So I had an answer prepared for that. I have certain FDs or certain properties from where I can get a loan and actually get the money which I'll be needing. So that will also work if you just show one, and if you have an answer prepared for how you'll fund the rest of your graduate studies. So that will work. They just want to know whether you have the money to live. That's it.
Okay, so next question is from Parth Nagar. If I'm moving from Georgia Tech OMSCS to on-campus MSCS program, should I tell that in the interview?
Yeah, you should definitely tell it. Like, I mean,
if they ask you anything, you tell them that.
I mean, like, so in the visa interview, the general rule is like, don't lie about anything. Just like
exactly, be as
close as you can.
Tell everything. Yes.
So just show like why are you interested in going on-campus MSCS program. Just say like I like the program or online thing. Like I'm interested in doing the on-campus thing. Just frame an answer. You build your story. That's the more important thing. That's not. It all depends on each person individually.
Yeah, like you can say something like on campus will give you more exposure to students around you, and interaction and group projects will be easier, right? So many advantages.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, so next topic is booking an apartment, safety and locations. So there must be some questions about it, right? So
you can just talk about the general areas.
Okay, so I live at the Exchange, which is on 16th Street, north of campus. I would say anything from 14th Street and upward are super safe. I mean, again, with a big disclaimer that anything can happen at any time. So it's basically your own risk. But I feel personally safe standing outside the building, even at middle of the night. Because I see a lot of lights around, and it's well lit, and I don't feel unsafe at all. However, there is an area in between Home Park area, which previously is known to be the area where a lot of like mugging and theft has happened before. So I would be careful with that part of the area.
See, end of the day, the thing is, you just should not be dumb. You should be careful as to where you're walking, and you should walk in well-lit areas. And the home park which Malvika told about, at least I walk through it because I live in local. I walk through it even in the night. The thing is, you have to make sure that you're walking safely, and look around you and see that there's no suspicious person walking. And this actually applies to everywhere, not only in Home Park, not only in 14th Street. It applies everywhere. The whole of Atlanta, this is a general rule everywhere. So again, I really feel that it is overhyped. The safety issue is really overhyped. You just have to be careful, and you just have to be smart.
So you want to talk about 9? So we have HP who lives at 935 M.
So as we have mentioned in the graduate package, like we have given like every apartment, like who stays over there, like what are the possible apartments and everything. So you guys can check the distance, like how much distance is from your department to the apartment. So my So I live in 935 apartments. Like it's like very close to industrial engineering and even to CRC and everything. So it's a pretty safe place. Like it's like an apartment, so the safety is pretty good. Like you need to have a access to enter and everything. So it's one of the nearest to the campus. So that's the most beneficial thing regarding 935. And
Can you
uh,
talk about walking in the night?
so walking in the night is perfectly fine. I generally walk around 10 from CRC or from my college to my apartment. Like even the 10, 11, I generally walk alone. So it's absolutely fine, but it always depends on you. Like you need to see like how shady are the people over there. So you need to check every time. Like and like now there is a Stingray service right after 6 p.m. till morning 7 a.m. So, but it takes time for booking. Like they will be waiting for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, even for 1 hour. So you need to decide upon that. So even you stay anywhere and even in home park you live, so there is not an issue because Stingray service is there in the nights. In the morning, like any area is safe. Like in the morning, every area is safe. So that's what I.
Singlet service is basically a free taxi service which is being given by the university. They pick you up from the location where you are and they drop you to your apartment.
It's during odd hours, of course, like at night till the morning.
So we also have the green route that goes through Exchange Local. So it basically goes through 14th Street and Steelworks and other.
So I guess the buses also everything is given in the Georgia Tech website. I guess like how the bus route will be and everything. You can just give a look like what are the green routes are, green route is going and everything.
So like a lot
basically-
of people, they just get out of their apartments in Exchange, and you can actually see the green route right outside the building, and you also have an app which will tell you when
Yeah,
the
you
bus
can
might come.
live track the bus and everything. So, but make sure like if you're going for exchange and local or anything, like I mean, you need to track the bus. So the green route bus is like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. One bus will be coming in 15 minutes. So just plan the timing when you're far away from the campus. Like everything you need to mentally fix before going to the apartment. Like once after going to the apartment, don't feel bad. Like so I should have taken nearer to the place or something like that. So just mentally fix that this will be a round of time. Worst case time I'll need to go to my class before. So just think about the availability of buses to your place and everything. Otherwise, like how you can walk in those things.
Okay, so we're going to answer a few questions. One of the question was, when do we book apartments? And some apartments are not showing as available. So for the Exchange and local, I think so we have to give,
Has the
and
same,
Steelworks and everywhere. So we have 2 months to give notice. So imagine somebody had started their lease in August. That means they have till June to give a notice to the apartments. I know that in Exchange that they're sending out emails to the current residents and telling them, hey, you better send a notice now. And so they'll wait till the 2 month period because that's the contract on the lease. And then they'll collect all the feedbacks. And then depending on that, they will put up the apartments as available. And so you have to wait till June to actually see what all comes up as available.
So the thing is, going off from what Malika was telling, so a lot of people who came in fall 18 and fall 17 have still not technically told the management that they're actually not continuing, since considering they started in August, so they'll be telling only in the month of June. So you can expect a lot of apartments to show up June mid. And if you ask as to what is a good time to actually book the apartments, June, end of June, preferably you should have a apartment booking.
Yeah, definitely like have your roommates set and have your apartment booked definitely by end of June.
Do we have to find the roommate Excel sheet in the?
Yeah, so we have a Excel sheet in the FP page, and there are 2 tabs, one for girls and one for guys. So don't forget to switch the tabs to see that. And then there are phone numbers written there, and you can contact each other. There's also a WhatsApp group for girls, so you can join that and then ask over there if anybody still wants roommates.
So Prithvi has asked like according to a graduate package prime data. 935 M Street seem to be the safest. Is still relevant information. It's nothing like safest or something. So 935 M Street, the route is decent, but the thing with M Street is it's a apartment. It's not a apartment. It's like a housing, different like three-storied buildings, like three-storied houses. So the people you can actually get into M Street a little easier. I mean, without like proper access. So while coming to 935 M, it's like a closed apartment and everything. So for getting an access into it, it's like a little difficult. So I mean, it's totally up to your call. Like MCD is also a pretty good place like to stay in. So I mean, there will be random thefts like one time or two times for the whole year or something. So you can't just judge by that. So
One last thing that I wanted to tell about the string rate is that they don't drop you off everywhere. There are certain locations where they can drop you off, like they have shaded areas where till where they can drop you off basically a 1 mile or a 2 mile radius of the campus. I had posted that map on the WhatsApp group some time ago, and I'll post it after this Hangout session as well.
So, you want to talk about on-campus housing?
So on-campus housing is like it's mostly 2 BHK apartments. So over there, you cannot share a room. Obviously, they allot you, and it's kind of costlier. If you're looking for staying alone by yourself in a room, then it can be an option. Otherwise, if you're wanting to share, the price reduction by sharing is a lot.
And you also get a furnished apartment when you stay
Yeah.
on campus, and
So,
it is
Actually, like
near.
actually on campus there are like furnished as well as unfurnished options.
yes.
Especially like if you're like living with a family, there is like a family housing.
Yeah,
Well,
there are
yes.
family housing options, there are furnished options, unfurnished options. A lot of information you can just look at that website. Another question by Karthik is: are the green routes free or paid? All the buses, Stinger, everything is free for everyone, not only students. Anybody can actually use it. They don't need any to show any ID. You can simply hop in and move around campus.
Technically, it's not free. You're paying $80 per semester. In your fees, it's included and compulsory.
Okay, next
So
question
use
is:
it.
other than the green route, which goes past local exchange, what are the other bus routes and what apartments do they pass? So this is kind of a complicated question. As far as a local and exchange go, it's only the green route. There are a lot of other buses: blue route, red route, the tech trolley. So I cannot like in words explain you that, but you can go online. Just type transportation Georgia Tech on Google and then just research there and go to buses, and there's a map which will show you the route of each bus and where it goes, and basically you can get your information from that. The next topic is car parking on campus. There's a question about that. So parking is not free at all, and it is ridiculously expensive. All the information again you can find in the transportation website on the Georgia Tech website. To give you an idea, for annual, it's a annual thing, so you pay yearly, and for the whole year for anytime parking you pay $800 for the entire year. You can also get something like evening park, where you can park only starting from 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. and on weekends. So that will vary somewhere between $200 and say $500 for the entire year. So all the information you can find again online.
the parking also you'll be giving a specific spot, like not in every. I mean, you
Right.
cannot park in all the campus. You'll be giving either at some department building or somewhere. So you'll be allotted a certain spot till 5 p.m. After 5 p.m. you can park anywhere.
Right. So there'll be like WO1, WO2, etc. So if you have to buy a certain region pass, so you have to see which regions cover what areas on the map, and whatever's convenient for you, buy the parking pass of that region. Until 5 p.m. you can only park in those spots that say, let's say WO1, you can only park over there. After 5 p.m. you can park in other places. Read all the documents carefully. So last one question before we kind of move to Prodigy is by Rishikesh. Could you please clarify the exact tuition fees for MS and ECE because I-20 amount is much larger, 67K, because of the inclusion of summer fees.
So you cannot really say the exact fees. Reason being, it depends on the number of courses you are taking. But on an approx per semester, it comes out to be like for our year, it's 15K plus whatever you'll be paying for your health insurance. So around 16K, I will say, per semester. So yeah, so 16K per semester, that means 2 semesters in an year, mostly you'll be doing. So that's 32K per semester is gonna come, but that's just an approximate idea. It depends on the number of courses you are taking.
So the thing is, if you're an international student, you have to take a minimum of 12 credits to actually be studying. So 12 credits amounts to 4 courses, and EC in this case EC to do your masters in EC you should do 30 credits. So it will normally be 12, 12 and 6. So
Also, like the amount mentioned in the I-20, it also includes the living expenses, cost of purchasing
Yeah.
books, and all those stuff. So that's why it is usually much higher than what you can normally expend. You'll normally spend.
In your whole degree.
Okay, so we will now move on to Prodigy guy talking to you, and then we'll come back to the next
So
topic.
he'll be talking to you around for like 10 to 15 minutes. Like he'll just. So Imran will be taking care. Imran will be presenting you about Prodigy and like answer specific questions about Prodigy. So he'll be taking like 10 to 15 minutes. Like again, we'll be coming back answering the remaining questions and everything. So.
Okay, so now we're gonna be switching to Imran.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Can you go?
I'm just gonna pull up my slides here for you guys. Hope everyone's having a good night.
So what do you see if you can talk?
Can you? So while we're putting up these slides, I'll speak a little bit about myself and my company. My name is Imran Jivraj. Tonight I'll be presenting about my company, Prodigy Finance. We offer a modern solution for student loan financing. So obviously, a lot of you guys are going through the process of kind of hitting off your checklist in regards to, transitioning to the US for your graduate school program. A little bit of background about our company is we started off about 10 years ago when our CEO couldn't get adequate. Yes. What's up? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, okay. Okay. So 1 second, guys.
Imran, you're not actually. That's good.
Okay, so yeah, we can see your presentation right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, so yeah, we can see.
Okay. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right, let's begin. Yeah, so essentially our company started off a little over 10 years ago when our CEO was studying at INSEAD for his MBA program, and he couldn't acquire adequate and fair funding. It seems when I go full screen with the slides that there's an issue, so I'm just going to leave it a little smaller for you guys. I think that'll be a good compromise. Okay, so let's just do it. Let's just do it like this. Okay, so today we exclusively fund international graduate students at top programs around the world, and that includes Georgia Tech. At Prodigy Finance, we focused our loan and our loan application model on reducing the highest stress points for students like yourselves. In India, we recognize the serious burden that a lot of loans put on the borrower, which is why I'm extremely happy to share that at Prodigy, we actually require no cosigner and no collateral in our loans. And I know that's a big difference compared to a lot of the offers you guys currently are getting and have. The reason we are able to do that is because we allow the student's potential and the student's ability to earn in the future as part of our risk model. And then we find that that's very key in establishing and something that our competitors don't really do. And what we've done is, along with that, is really identified the stress points in the application process for yourselves as borrowers and students kind of going through this process, and try to reduce any issues with at those points. We have a global presence. We fund over 15,000 students worldwide with 700 million plus dispersed. At Georgia Tech, our average loan per year is roughly 40,000 US dollars. Our offices in London, Cape Town, New York, which is where I'm located, and India, where we constantly hold events and outreach to students worldwide. If you guys haven't been privy to any of our events that our team in India has held, I would advise you guys to look for that and look forward to that. They're very helpful and they're very informative. What I can tell you is that if you are interested in learning more, I will be able to share a link with you guys at the end through the live chat once we are answering questions. Yeah, so being created by international graduate students, our company knows the stress. That's why we don't require the cosigner or collateral. Another part of the process we've identified as a huge issue for applicants is the duration of the application process. That's why I'm extremely proud to be able to announce that our online application is completely online. You can complete it in 30 minutes and you get an instant quote for your loan with a transparent offer with interest rates and full loan amount as soon as you complete our 30-minute application. So how does the loan process work? Well, we've developed a streamlined application where you have a commitment-free quote directly after you submit your application. So your application, you go on our website, you register, you answer a few questions, boom, you get your instant quote. And another point that we've identified is obviously the visa process. That can be very, very stressful for you guys. And I think, the grad students here at GT obviously can speak to that, and they have been throughout this webinar. In just 2 weeks after you get that instant quote, you can get a confirmed loan letter that you can use that's valid for your visa application. And we find that as an extremely helpful process because that's something you guys are really stressed about and really want to get figured out. And it's important for us to make that process easier for you. And that's one huge benefit of completing the application and taking a Prodigy loan is the speed and efficiency and transparency that we do it with. Another thing that I'd like to highlight is the disbursement process. So when looking at your typical loans, a student like yourself will receive the money from a bank in India through your Indian bank account. You'll have to handle the transfer between your Indian bank account and your US bank account, and then your US bank account to your school. So we've completely cut through that whole process. What we do is we disperse directly to the school so that there's no delays and no late payments. Well, we emphasize this because it's a stressful process that the student doesn't need to go through. We know that the timelines can be really quick and the turnaround time can be really tough when figuring out your visa and figuring out your housing and figuring out your transportation and figuring out your classes. You really don't want to have to worry about handling large sums of money and making sure that you're actually good to go to the school and have paid all your debts and don't owe any money. And what we've done is established a relationship with these schools where we have a standardized payment process to ensure that the students don't have to worry about something like that. And we're really proud of the fact that we were able to offer that. And it's something that may not be as prevalent of an issue to you from your perspective now in India, but I would advise you, and maybe some of the current students can speak to this, is that handling finances is definitely a difficult part of the process, especially cross country and completing international wire transfers and the like. Another part of the process I'd like to highlight is that repayment begins 6 months after graduation. Before that, there are no fees, no charges, or anything else before this point. You can happily, and we happily accept any early payments if you have the ability or the interest to make that payment, but it's not required. And we don't expect a dime or a dollar from you before that day. Unlike banks and other lenders in India, which may require those interest payments, actually, speaking of other lenders, I'd be interested in taking you through a comparison of Prodigy Finance versus the competition. So let's look at this chart. Why don't you guys take a second and kind of look at what's important to you, look at all the factors. There's a few things I want to flag here. The first thing is that all loans for international students funding their education are variable. So if you look at the interest rate row, you can see at the public sector banks, the NBFCs, and at Prodigy Finance, we all have a variable loan. Ours is variable by the 3-month US LIBOR, which is there at 2.59% currently. If you're interested in seeing the variability of what LIBOR can be, it's simply to balance out economies of scale. If you want to see the historic change in that, we can't sit here and predict it, but at the same time, it's something that is transparent and we don't control. Another thing I want to point out is the additional costs. So at Prodigy Finance, we charge 2.5% admin fee, which is not due upfront. You can pay that at any point. If you'd like to pay it when it's assessed at the time of disbursement, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to pay it with your loan, you're more than welcome. And that's the only fee we ever charge throughout the whole life of the loan. Now, if you look at the other offers that you may be getting, there can be admin fees, insurance fees, transaction fees, conversion fees, insurance fees, and so on and so forth. I would very clearly speak to any bank or lender about if there are any hidden fees, or even so about what the potential interest rates are variable on. So like I said previously, our rate is variable on LIBOR. So that may not be the case for your local bank or your NBFCs. Their rates can be variable on a multitude of factors, and if they haven't been transparent with you about that, you should definitely highlight that in your next conversation with them. I'm really excited actually to announce that we've actually established the ability for students like yourselves who take Prodigy loans to build their US credit history. Now that's very key in the sense that students who are establishing their credit by paying back these loans aren't getting credit for it in the US and internationally. So what we've done is we've made agreements and partnerships with these companies to make sure that you guys are getting credit for that, and it allows you to have access to better financial products in the US if you decide to stay, or even during your time here. And I think this and many other things differentiate ourselves from other lenders. We really put emphasis on the student, and we want to be transparent, and we want to be the best option you guys have available. We know that we may not be the best option for every single one of you, but we're proud to say that we want you to make the right decision. And if that means not taking a loan with us, that's totally fine. We want you to be informed and knowledgeable about the loan process, because it can be confusing and it can be difficult. So please, whenever you are considering your loan, or if you have, or if you're in the process of negotiation, make sure you highlight the interest rate variability and what that's based on, and the additional hidden fees, because those are two big options that can really change your APR and your total amount that you're paying at the life of the loan. Now, that being said, if you take a picture of the QR code here, that should take you to our page where you can start your application. Again, in just 30 minutes, get a quote. You don't have to do anything with it, but if you're at the part of the process now where you want to get your visa application started, and whatever lender you're using is dragging their feet, you can go ahead and use that for your application process. And at the end of the day, if you don't take the loan, you don't take the loan. They just want to know that you have access to funding, and we're a credible source for that. Yeah, so go ahead and take a second here and think of any questions. I'll take a look at the YouTube chat just now and start answering. Okay. Okay. The first question I see is from Rishikesh.
Okay, Imran. So
yes.
You can
What's
start
up?
looking at the YouTube, as well as we have some questions.
Okay, perfect. If you want to facilitate the questions, I'm totally cool with that.
Okay, Imran. So
yes.
You can start.
Okay, perfect. If you want to facilitate.
Yes, Imran. So we'll read out the questions so that you can answer them. So you want to read the first question?
So the first question is, Prodigy informed me that it will be sent for certification to school. Could you please explain what is this school certification procedure, and is that something I need to worry about?
So the certification process with the school is essentially just confirming the amount of your tuition. So essentially what happens is, before we send a payment, what we do is it goes through the certification process, where we're making sure that all the funds and all the amounts line up. And there's nothing you have to worry about. If there is any potential issues, I would advise to reach out to our chat support and just highlight any special circumstances you may be involved in, and they will be able to guide you through that process.
All right, so the next question is it possible if my GT application address does not match the address mentioned in my Prodigy approval letter? Is it possible?
I don't think that's an issue. On our end, I don't see any problem with that. It's as we verify any documents or information that we need to verify, and as long as the school is good with the information you've sent them as well, then we should be clear on that end. It's nothing that we should have an issue with. I think that's totally okay.
Okay, so the next question is it possible to take up Prodigy loan in the middle of the year, that is the spring semester?
Yes, you can take a loan for any kind of significant portion of your schooling. Obviously, typically we are on a fall to spring kind of cycle. If your situation is, again, a unique situation, you can definitely still make an application for that specific time frame, specifically the spring semester. Just in your application, you'd explain that and ask for that specific amount of money in that window.
Okay, so we're gonna have one last question, and the rest of the questions we'll have a Facebook Q&A only with Prodigy, so you can get those answered. So the last question is, from which point does the interest applicability start? Like from the moment we apply, or from the first fee payment, etc.
Interest applies at the time of disbursement. So we do at Prodigy simple interest. First of all, it's not compound, and it only begins to apply at the time of disbursement. So if you're taking a loan for 2 semesters, your interest only applies on your first semester at the time of payment for your first semester, and then it starts applying for your second semester at the time of disbursement for your second semester. So it's only when that money is paid is when we start applying our interest. Yeah, so if you guys have any more questions, please, we'll share a time and date this upcoming week for a Facebook Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Imran, for the for answering all the questions. In the interest of time, we're going to stop with the Prodigy questions right now, and we're going to be adding a link to Facebook where you will have personalized one-on-one Q&A with Imran or whoever is representing at that point of time to get all your other Prodigy questions answered. So now let's move on to the next topic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
The next topic is course registration. So anybody wants to start talking about course registration?
So the thing is, after you come here, you will have a set of holds that you have to get removed before you can actually start registering for courses. Basically, proving that you have come here legally and stuff like that. So that is just a procedure. And after that, you will get time tickets like for majors like CS and EC, where there's a lot of demand for certain courses. You get time tickets, and basically those time tickets tell you when you can start registering. That is also dependent. That's basically random, and according to those time tickets you start registering. The academic calendar tells that your course registration starts on August 10th. So you register, and yeah, that's it. You register.
And no need to worry about time registration, like if you get your time ticket later on also, because you'll get all the courses that you want from your own branch 99.99% times.
Yeah, so basically,
So do you guys want a timeline? No, when does the dates and stuff?
okay, so as of now, if you go on Georgia Tech calendar, I think it's calendar.gatech.edu, you will find everything has been planned for the whole year ahead. So you will see something called time tickets. So as of now, I think August 10th is where there's one time ticket that's been going on. Also for us, we have a earlier time ticket as well to actually register for the next semesters. So then August 10th one will start, and then there will be time ticket on the week of the starting of the classes. So if you get all your holds removed, check-in, everything done, you can probably register during the August 10th. Otherwise, there's nothing to worry. You can get everything done at your own pace, and then make sure you get everything done so that first week of classes, you can actually register for those classes. Some classes may be full, so you can be added into the wait list. And a lot of people actually try out the classes. They sit in one class, they decide if they want to continue or not. And so a lot of people may drop out in the first week, and you might get a chance to get into that class.
The website where you can see the calendar is registrar.gartech.edu/calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So the question is,
Can we take up courses outside our department? What is the procedure? So we can actually take courses outside our department, but so we are restricted in the starting to register for outside department courses. In the first week itself, we'll get open to the other departments once if they are not filled out or something. So until then, we actually cannot we'll have a restriction limit on the courses which we can apply for the other departments.
so some of the courses in other departments can be taken, but there are these very high demand courses. So they put a restriction so that only the people in that major can register. So first week of classes, those slots will open up. For you, I think it doesn't make that much of a difference when you come in and you want to register first week of classes. But for the next year, it's something to keep in mind. So then next, do we have another question?
no, we guys want to talk about like permits for other department courses. And
Yeah. So sometimes some of the courses it'll say you need instructor permit. So if you just follow through the links there, they will tell you who's the instructor, and you have to email the instructor saying, "Hey, I'm interested in taking your class. This is my capabilities. I've taken these classes before, and this is going to be helpful for me. It's what I want to do in the future, etc." And then that professor can sort of give you the permission to enroll in his class. And a lot of classes, even though it's full, if it's not a very high demand class, you can actually email the professor saying, "I know the class is full, but I'm really interested in taking your class." And some professors are nice enough to accommodate, a couple of more people.
And you may also require permits for taking undergrad courses if you want to bridge up your course, if you're changing from bachelor's to master's, or even if you want to go in depth of what you did in bachelor's. So you require permissions from the departments for those, and sometimes when you're taking courses from other majors, that time also you may require a permit from other departments. For that information, you have to actually directly talk to the department.
So you have to come here and speak with your graduate advisor, who is usually sitting in your department building. And you can talk to them about what courses you can take, and make sure you come up with a plan. These are the courses I plan to take. Will these satisfy all the credits that I need to graduate? So make a list of all the courses and stuff like that. And then there are some courses that you can audit for. So either you'll have it's going to be something like a pass-fail sort of a class where you're not going to be graded on everything that the other people are doing. So it's going to be a special thing for you if you audit a class. However, these may not count towards your degree, towards the credits that you need for the degree. So you have to ask your advisor about that. So if you're interested in a class and say, it's a tough class, you want to learn about it, but you don't want to be graded and get penalized, to get a B or a C or something like that. So you just register it as audit and find out from your advisor how many audit classes I can take. And also make sure you talk to the professors what I need to do to get a pass. So it might be attend these many classes or submit 3 homeworks out of 10 homeworks or something like that. So you have to speak with your advisor as well as the professor to set what might be a pass for you and take audit for that class.
okay, so actually there's a small clarification. So the pass-fail courses and audit are not exactly the same. Say pass or fail courses count towards they count as 3 credits towards your 12 credit requirement, but audits don't count towards that, and audits also don't count towards graduation. I guess.
So
Okay.
the main intention of doing an audit course is that you can always mention in your resume, telling that you have done such and such a course, because whenever a company looks at your resume or a recruiter looks at your resume, they always look at the courses you have done. So this, in this way, you're doing a course, you're not paying for it, and you're not getting penalized if you don't do well in that course, and you have it on your resume.
Regarding the fees, like if you're taking more than 4 courses, the fee is the same.
Up to 21 credit, 12 to 21 credit hours, your fee is the same. If you take anything more than that, which I recommend not to, you'll
Okay,
die.
so ideally, like, don't take more than 12 in your, especially not in your first semester.
Yeah, please. So when people come to Georgia Tech, they struggle a lot. Try to take in the first semester. Try to take easy classes. Get used to it because it's not easy. So make sure you get easy courses
I
and.
mean, it totally depends on
transition.
your department and everything. Just, I mean, figure out like some interesting courses, like which you're actually interested in, which you're planning to do an intern. So try to take those courses which will help in you in your intern interviews or anything. Because first semester itself, right, starting from the September, the so many intern application companies will open their intern applications and everything. So you need to apply for intern. So do the courses which you are actually interested in, which you're planning, where you're planning to do intern in specific area.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
No, nothing yet.
What
So-
are the on-campus?
No, yeah, we'll come to that
So, okay, we'll come
later.
to
But
So
so we
anything-
want to talk about paying the
so-
fees, like how do we pay the fees and stuff.
Right. So the next topic is how to pay fees. So basically, the due date will be August 26th at 4 p.m. I think it's not the week of the classes, but the next week,
The Monday
the
after.
Monday after the week of the classes. And so make sure you pay the fees by the given time. What question?
So
You can
Yeah,
also
so
have a
also,
guardian
like-
pay for you. You can set up a guardian to pay your fees for you, and so they can pay it also directly for you.
also, like, if you have a loan from India, like you can either like ask them to get them to wire it to you, your bank account, and then you pay the fees, or like some banks will require that they pay directly to Georgia Tech. I think that you have to work out with your respective banks. And another thing is, like, even for paying the fees, like there will be a couple of options, like a web check where you just put in your account number and then like they'll deduct your money, and there is also wire transfer. If you are paying from your own funds, we recommend that you pay through the web check and not the wire transfer, because wire transfer will include like a $30 fee or something like that. But the web check is free. So if possible, we recommend that you pay through the web check. You transfer your money to your US account, and then you pay through the web check.
No,
I mean,
if you
so-
directly wire transfer from India to the Bank of Georgia Tech, then there's no additional fee payment. You just have to pay the fees. That's it.
Yeah,
So
because
most
if you
most-
transfer from India to here to your bank account here, there would be a transfer fee as well.
Yeah.
Depends. It depends on the
Banks, yeah.
account you're having. Like in BOFA, they charge Bank of America. They charge $15 per wire transfer, and in some other banks they do not charge anything. But if the Bank of America, like Georgia Tech also is account in Bank of America only, where you can transfer directly from India through wire transfer, and you won't be charged those $15 extra at all.
So basically, when you come over here, just go to, there's a bursar office, which is totally for the finance and the fee payments and everything. If you ask them what is the SWIFT code, what is the wire transfer, account details and everything, you can just give it to your bank. Like mainly Indian banks prefer directly transferring to the college account rather than giving to your main account. So just give them the details of the wire transfer account. So they'll directly transfer to them.
All these details about what account you are supposed to transfer the money, Georgia Tech, are given in the Bursar website. It's called.
Okay, before.
Okay, so that is another question. Can we pay tuition using US credit card? Actually, you can pay using a US credit card, but I think there is a 2.5% fee. And also make sure that your US credit card can
The limit of that.
has a credit limit of like 16,000 or whatever the fees you're going to pay.
Please tell
Yeah.
them.
Okay, so let's talk about medical. You guys want to talk about medical insurance next?
Do you have the website that you were talking about?
Yeah, so it's bursar.gatech.edu. Over there, you can find all the information regarding this, from what are the different methods of payment, as well as what will be the account number where you have to make the payments.
Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. We'll
Let's talk about
do
insurance.
medical insurance. So anybody wants to share their experience?
Okay, I have an insurance from India itself. It costed me like one
Okay,
fourth of.
I think let's kind of like give them a background, like
Okay.
what it's about. So as an F1 student, like we are required to have medical insurance. So you have like two options. Either you can, so Georgia Tech will provides a health insurance. You can either get that, or you can get your own personal health insurance from, say, India or wherever. So the um, so so the main advantage of having like the Georgia Tech insurance is that the registration is pretty simple, and then it covers most of the hospitals around here. So and they also have like the cashless options for most of the hospitals. So so in most of the hospitals, wherever you go, you just need go give you a card, and then you can really get treated. But historically, like people have seen that the medical insurance from India is cheaper. So so you guys, I mean,
You have to decide.
you have to
So
decide
you
for
have
yourself.
to. It's
And-
cheaper, but it's also cheaper because it doesn't have as much as coverage that the US, the Georgia Tech health insurance has. So be careful while choosing, because if you're in a habit of, being too adventurous and getting hurt and stuff like that, so
or you have
think
like
about.
a pre-existing condition or something like
Yeah,
that.
Then
exactly.
better take the job.
So also another thing to note here is if you're employed as a GT or a GRA at Georgia Tech, you have to get the Georgia Tech insurance. That is kind of mandatory.
Yeah, it's kind of covered in your
Yeah,
in your
you-
stipend plan. And
Yeah,
stuff.
it will be hugely subsidized, but still, I think it's kind of mandatory.
It is not.
You want to talk about the
Yeah.
Indian insurance?
Sanya will.
So I took my insurance from India only, and it costed me like one fourth of what others are paying. And but I won't say that. So before taking, even if you're taking from India, you need to get it approved by Georgia Tech's health insurance people. For that, they wouldn't approve it unless and until it's covering all the things that they are covering. So it will cover almost all the things if you're taking from India and it's getting approved by them. But what I feel is a pro and con between them is like obviously the cost is extremely less. And but other thing is this, that it becomes a little tedious if you're falling sick continuously, then every time giving receipts to them and getting money from them, the process can be a little tedious. But if you do not fall sick very easily, I will recommend you go with an India one. But of course, it's totally up to you.
So the thing is, if you take the Georgia Tech one, it is easy to get reimbursed and everything because
Yeah.
they are based out in Atlanta, and if you go to an Atlanta hospital and everything works out really well. But if you take an Indian one, you really have to take the receipts here, then submit it to the insurance people back home. So that again, as Sanya told, it becomes a little tedious. And even the first semester, I took insurance, the blue insurance from Georgia Tech, and from the second semester, I've taken an Indian one. Like the main thing is you have to be confident that you won't fall sick, and if you won't, then take an Indian one.
Also, like so does the Indian insurance have like the cashless policy, or you have to pay for
So
yourself? and then-
over here, what I had to do was I'll pay the full amount currently, like right now, and then I'll get 100% reimbursed by them when I submit my receipts. But if you take Georgia Tech insurance, you'll have to pay a copay amount, which is around $10-20, depending on what facility you are taking. But that won't be refunded, and everything else mostly is covered by the insurance itself.
The thing is, like, suppose one of my friends got viral fever, like, so his hospital bill was like $40,000.
Yeah. So the medical like.
So if you are taking an Indian insurance, you can't pay $40,000 from your own pocket. So because he has Georgia Tech insurance, he required to pay some minimum basic fee, and remaining everything is taken care of by them. So the actual cost or medical cost over here is like tremendously high. Like you can't even imagine how much it will cost. Like
Yeah.
So that is another question for like how do you register for the Georgia Tech insurance?
pretty rich.
So basically like
You're already registered for it. You'll get an email saying you want to waive out of that out of that plan, and then submit a different plan. So everyone coming in is already automatically registered, and if you want to get out of it, you have to go there and press a button saying
There
I
is
don't
a
want to.
deadline for it.
Yeah.
For waiving out, there will be a
I think it's like the
deadline.
first week of classes or something like that.
Yeah.
It is usually something around the first week
Yeah,
of
it's
classes.
16th of July for fall semester. 16 to 16 July to 10 September, you can waive out of this. Yeah.
Okay, so just to add to that, like, so there is a stamps. It's like a hospital here inside the campus. So we usually pay the health fee, and it covers most of the expenses that incur at stamps. So but the thing is, like, they don't have any like advanced things like scan or something like that.
No, they have X-ray scan.
Yeah, that's not MRI and stuff
Oh,
like that.
MRI they don't. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so they have some basic things. So if you have like a fever or like some a mild sprain or whatever, you can go and get treated. That is free mostly.
So yeah, most of the basic stuff we have. We also have in the GT insurance. We have a women's health checkup yearly once free. We have a general body checkup yearly once free. We have a dental cleaning and checkup yearly once free, and stuff like that. And so if you have to get more stuff done, if they detect any problems and stuff like that, they will recommend you. There are hospitals all over the US where the insurance will cover. And for example, I had like fractured my arm, and I was in a different state. All I had to do is go online or call a nurse and ask them which hospital I can go to, and then go to that hospital. And I had to only pay $40. The rest, everything was covered by the insurance, but but there's a small doctor fee and a hospital fee that will come to you by mail, which you can pay later. You have lots of time to pay. It was not more than $100.
And there are a few questions about like asking about the Georgia Tech health insurance. Asking does it cover say dental, vision, or something specific like spectacles or lenses? So right now, Georgia Tech is negotiating with the insurance providers to have like the to have the policy for the next year. So at this point, we don't know exactly like what the policy covers.
I check is covered.
No, that's what not
Till now.
it's covered till now.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the policy will be for the next year. So we can't really comment on like what will be covered or not because even we are not sure about that. So we'll have to wait for that. And
Previously, the eye checkup was free, or
yeah,
you pay a really small amount.
Yeah. Also, like another general thing is like the dental is really costly here. So if you, it's like ridiculously expensive.
So you can buy a ticket back to India, stay there for 10 days, enjoy and come back, and it will cost you less than what it will cost you.
After insurance.
Yes. After insurance, yes.
Yeah, so if you have some pre-existing dental conditions, we recommend that even if you don't, we highly recommend that you have a dental checkup in India before you arrive here, so that you will be fine until you go back for a vacation.
And every time you go back to India, plan a dental visit and get everything that you need to get done. Of course, you can do checkups here, and then they'll tell you what to do, and you can go back and get it done.
Georgia Tech's health insurance plan is called Student Blue.
No,
so what exactly it covers, you can tell.
So right now, yeah, so let's not talk about which insurance, because what's happening now is it was Student Blue till now, but currently they're trying to get to another company, or they're trying to get to another plan. So whatever we know is from the previous years. So we have to wait and see what the Georgia Tech current plan they are going to adopt.
Okay, I think we need to talk about the copay and stuff. So
every insurance, it will tell you how much you have to co-pay or something like that. So when you go to the hospital, you have to pay a certain amount, and the insurance will cover a certain amount. And upfront, you have to pay a certain amount. For example, when I hurt myself, I went and I had to pay a $40 co-pay, which I had to pay right then.
So let's talk about immunizations and things which you need to done right now rather than.
Okay. All right. So let's.
Regarding the immunizations, you have to get some form done, like regarding whether you have completed these immunizations and like the hepatitis B and everything before or not. So I think you want to talk.
So yeah, a lot of people they have the question that if you come here, can you get them done here? So the reason we're not able to answer this very accurately is because GT is trying to change their health insurance. In our year and previously,
So it's better to do it in India and
no, it was
Just
covered,
covered.
but I thought-
Discover.
Insurance was not covered. Immunizations were not covered.
It is
Are
covered.
you sure?
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
Because
Last year it was not.
Niranjana said
No, because
she
we had
was
it. I had my shots here.
Last year it was not.
Niranjana just got her
It
thing.
was not.
Oh, it was not. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Immunization.
so like you can see, we all have different answers about this. That means you have to like call them and ask them, is it covered or not? So better to just get everything done in India. If you don't have a choice, say you have to wait 30 days for the second shot, you have to come here, then be prepared to, pay that or make sure you take a health insurance that covers that part or something. Do we have any other questions? Let's
no,
start.
let's
Okay,
talk about
let's move
on-campus
topics
jobs.
because I think we ran out of questions. On-campus jobs. So first one, are GRA, GTA credits counted towards the 12 credit hours?
First,
Well-
first we talk about the general overview of the options available on campus jobs and stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about jobs available on campus. First is the GRA. GRA is basically a professor who hires you to do research. They will get some funding from, let's say, a national, let's say Department of Energy or something like that, and or a private company. So they will seek funds and they need people to work on that. And so mostly the PhD students working under them are also their own GRAs. Second preference will be given to somebody with masters with thesis. And then later on, it will be given preference to just masters people. You can actually talk to professors, and if you tell them you're interested, in the future, I want to pursue a PhD and stuff like that, they'll be more interested to fund you. The second job is GTA. Again, the department itself has a certain number of courses that they look for GTA, and then some professors also have the power to give GTA to certain people in their courses. So the department will have a priority list. Again, the priority list will go to people who have PhDs. Then again, masters with thesis, and then masters. And then but also you can go to professors, and if you have an A in their class or something like that, just go and talk to
in
them.
the first semester it's actually a little difficult to get a teaching assistant thing. So more likely after first semester, if the course is repeated or like if the course is repeated again in the event semester or the spring semester, you can go up to the prof and say like, I'm interested in this course. I got a top grade in this course. Can you give me a funding or can you give me the teaching assistant? I'm all interested in this. So otherwise, like if you're from CS or anything, if you have done some undergrad courses, you have your work experience, everything in that area, you can actually directly contact the professor through mail or something like, actually, I'm interested. You're taking this course for the undergrads or like undergrads or anyone, like I'm interested in doing a teaching assistant for this course. Like just mail the professors, like just look out for the course list and the professors and just mail to them. So there is one more thing is like there is this graduate assistant thing where like you can do a project under your prof, but they will not give any sponsorship to your tuition. There will not be any tuition here, but they'll be paying you around $15 to $18 per hour.
Like per hourly basis, they might pay you. So for GRA and GTA, both will cover the same things. Depends on how much percent of the GRA GTA you got. So both will cover the tuition, and it will give you a stipend, and that stipend varies from major to major, and from class to class also it might vary. And do you have?
There is like half TA and 1/3 TA.
That all
so-
depends on your
It
department.
all depends on the departments.
So for example, in mechanical engineering department, for 1/3 TA, you get around $2,000 as a stipend, and your tuition will be waived. and other departments they might get higher than that. So you need to find out you'll get an offer letter, and so you need to find out from that. What's the next
Yeah,
question?
so you want to talk about other on-campus?
So there are other on-campus jobs. Is there a website where they can?
That's a student center job.
There's the Student Center website where you can actually look for jobs. Student Center, library, and there's one more.
The Grad office, the OAE office.
Yeah, the OAE website, and you have the CRC website also, which CRC is basically the
Student
Campus
recreation
recreation
campus
center.
recreation center where you have all gym, swimming pool, and all such things, and you can actually apply for jobs there also. And the earlier would be the better, because all of us will be all of them will be applying.
So yeah, for the student center, basically you have a lot of eating options there. So you can be at one of those counters. You also have information desk there. You can probably be the person giving out information and stuff like that. And for CRC, obviously you'll be monitoring some stuff. You can probably get a job as a lifeguard or something like that. Get
Wow.
CPR trained and stuff like that.
But we prefer not doing on-campus jobs in the first semester because you'll have so much course load in the master's programs and you'll be little busy with that. So it's better to not do anything not related with your course in the first semester. It all depends on you.
Yeah, and more importantly, you're new to this place and you'll need time to actually acclimatize to this new surrounding. So,
And you need to look for the internships in the first fall semester itself. Like for the master's student, there will be a lot of pressure. You'll be taking 4 to 5 courses. You'll be doing projects. You'll be doing. You need to check for interns and everything. So it's better not to look for on-campus jobs right from the start of the fall.
Right. And on-campus jobs will pay you hourly. There's no tuition waiver. So you'll probably get up to like $20 per hour
Not much.
max or something like that. There's a question from Nitesh Kothari. If we have on-campus job, will we be blocked while taking GRA, GTA? No, I mean, you can choose which one you want. And
I mean, you
So,
cannot
but
take
you cannot
both.
take both.
You
No, you
cannot-
can.
you can
Until like so the you have a as an FN student, you have a restriction that you can work only for up to like 20 hours a week. So if you have a TRA for like 10 hours a week or 12 hours a week, you can work the remaining 8 hours or 8 to 10 hours. But if you have a GTA or a GRA for like 20 hours a week, then you cannot take any other on-campus jobs.
An honest opinion, it's really difficult to get on-campus jobs in Gartech. Mostly you'll get on-campus jobs through recommendation of seniors only. So find some senior who has an on-campus job, which they can give to you.
Yeah, so if you know someone who is actually doing the job, so if they recommend you to succeed them when they leave, it will be really helpful.
Yeah.
So if you know someone, please follow up with them.
so when you have a GRA or especially GRA or a GTA, it'll say that you're working, say, 13 hours a week or something like that. But in reality, you're going to be putting in like
More
40 hours a week or something, and that's as a
that all
PhD
depends on
student.
the-
then
That all depends on the course
And
and
the
the professor actually.
course and the
I have
professor.
had like courses which I work like much less and like so much more.
Yeah, GTA not that much, but for GRA, it all depends on your prof. And yeah, it's definitely not going to be, oh, I finished working for these many hours, I'm going home. It's not how it's going to work. You have to get the work done, and it depends on you how efficient you are.
Okay. And yeah, so you want to talk about the other questions?
Okay, what's the next question? Okay, are GTA GRA credits, that's done, right? Count towards the 12. So we didn't answer that. Okay. So yeah, so there is a course that you can take, which is research assistantship or teaching assistantship. It is as a course. There are no like pass. They're just satisfactory or unsatisfactory, which your supervisor will give you. So you can take as many as that. You can take all 12 as that. You don't have to take courses also. But make sure that you don't take beyond 21 credits. Some of the departments will ask you to, especially if you're getting funding as a GRA and GTA, how many hour courses you take, they'll ask you to fill up your credits up till 21 hours using the GTA or GRA credits at no extra fee for you, or that's not going to change anything for you, except that the university might get more benefit if you do that as a student. But it's not going to penalize you in any way.
So that's a question about like what about online GTA. So
Okay.
online GTA, it's pretty much the same as an offline GTA, except that like instead of holding like say office hours in person, you'll have like you'll have hold offices over Skype or something, and you'll answer questions over like Piazza or depends on the this thing. Uh, Piazza, which is like a forum we have for the courses. And other than that, it's pretty much the same as an on-campus GTA. There's not any significant difference. Uh, for PhD, like there's another question. For PhD, will it be the same classes coursework as MS courses? Yeah, it kind of
Yes,
depends. Like
yes.
you kind
So-
of take the same
Right.
same
So
graduate
what I
level
did
courses.
was I moved from masters to PhD. So I finished my masters, and now for my PhD, I only have maybe 4 extra courses to take. So everything else is completely covered when I did the masters in the same major, of course. So there's a question. If I want to do thesis, what are the exact steps, recommendations I need to follow before the first sem? Are you talking about master's thesis? So first of all, what you need to do is find an advisor. So that's basically the main thing. How you find an advisor is totally up to you. You can come here, you can look at the professors, go talk to them, find out what their research is, give them ideas of why you want to do thesis and stuff like that. And then, yeah, and so basically that's the only step. You have to find an advisor. Once you find an advisor, you're set. What is the best way of getting GRA position in the first sem of MS? Same thing. GRA, basically if you're doing thesis, you are on a sort of a GRA because the thesis project is something that they'll pay you for.
But-
So you'll be on a GRA.
But it is kind of unlikely that some professor will give you a GRA right at the first semester. So mostly how it works is like they'll ask you to take a special problem, which is like you kind of do research with them, that you count as a course, you do research with them, and if like you like each other, then you do thesis with them. So unless there are any specific cases, say if you're doing a PhD, you talk to a advisor before coming here, it is very unlikely that you'll have a GRA during your first semester.
Yeah, you might get a GTA also. So in some way, if you get an offer from a professor, it's not guaranteed that it will be a GRA offer. It can be a GTA also. They're just guaranteeing you that they'll give you some kind of a funding.
No, in EC thesis, it does not guarantee that you're getting any
Yeah,
kind of
funding.
funding also. You're just doing thesis. You're not
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
money.
Oh,
It's hard to get money in EC.
okay.
Yeah, okay. So timeline for
What
finding
is the
internship.
timeline for finding internships?
I would say right from the start of the semester itself.
When is the career fair?
I mean, there will be a career fair starting, happening in September, third week or second week.
So that
So
means you
where-
have 1 month to kind of prepare. So
So it's not about just career fair. Like you need to look jobs in their company website. You need to look for jobs right from the start, and it's all about your effort. No one from the department comes and say like apply for these companies, apply for these. There will be no one assisting you or something. You need to look at your own job, and there will be a career advisor, but they will be might be saying like these are the companies. These companies are interested in interns. You can apply this, but no one will specifically assist you for each company and those type of things.
we can direct you to resources. So first thing is there are career fairs where companies will come and you can get in their line, get your resume ready, talk to them one-on-one. So the first time can be like a new experience for you, something that you've not been through, and it can be a lot of challenging, very challenging. I remember almost crying in mine, but so yeah, it can be challenging. Then there's an online forum where you can actually look at what companies are there, what job openings are there, and you can apply directly through Georgia Tech. It's called Career Buzz. There's also a building behind the OIE called Center for Career Development.
Career Development Discovery.
C2D2. C2D2 is what we call it. So you can schedule an appointment with them, go and talk to them about what all are available, how I can get a job easily. They also do mock interviews. They also look at your resume. Everyone thinks their resume is amazing and they're kind of like shy to show their resume to people. So get out of that mind block. Go get your resume checked. Let people look at it, criticize it, change your resume, make it good. That's how you have more chances of getting a job rather than keeping everything to yourself.
So you have your all major career fair in the first or second week of September, and most departments also have their department specific career fairs. So one more thing, what I would like to tell you is you don't have any placement team like what happens in India. It is all your own effort which goes into you getting your internship, and you actually have to network a lot, ping a lot of people on LinkedIn, and make sure that your resume gets out there and people actually read it. Ping seniors, ping whoever you can, and that's how you actually get internships around.
Another thing which is different from India is that in India, if you apply online, nobody is gonna look at your profile. But in US, that is the way you get internships.
Another thing that companies do is they ask their employees if they want to recommend anybody, refer anybody. And so that is kind of taken as a little higher priority. So if you know friends, so that's why you should come and network with seniors here who are graduating or something like that. And if they know your work and they know you're capable or something, they might refer you to their company and you might get a chance for an internship in that way as well. But your job is to just keep applying and keep trying and just go at it constantly because you need a job and it's not easy for international students to get. All companies will not take international students. So find out which companies do and target those companies, because there's no point of going to other companies because they will not hire you. Okay, so let's wrap up soon. So we are going to have specific ECE and CS Hangout session. The information will be sent to you via email and on the Facebook and on the WhatsApp groups. Specifically ECE and CS because we have a lot of students in these majors, and other majors we have collected seniors. Basically, we've collected their contacts and we will email that directly to you. And you can contact them and ask questions about that. What else do you want to talk about? So basically, we also in the previous years have done something called ICAT, which is basically airport transportation and pickup. In the last year, what we have done is arranged for some kind of shuttles to come and pick you up for a minimal fee. We also try to send out a spreadsheet to the seniors, to you first, where you can fill out when your flight time is and stuff like that, when you are going to be arriving. And we're going to send that online to seniors who have cars or something like that, and who can look at the spreadsheet and say, hey, I'm free at this time, and they'll put their name down. And of course, this is all dependent on who's available and who wants to volunteer, and we cannot force anybody or push anybody to get you the ride that you need. And we're also going to be giving you tips about how you can come from there to here. So don't worry about it. This is, of course, not a guaranteed thing. We also do temporary housing. Again, this is not a guaranteed thing. It all depends on who is nice enough to lend you their hall space or something like that.
This temporary housing is mainly if you're coming to Atlanta at August 1st or 2nd, but your lease starts on August 8th or 9th, you require 1 week to stay in someone's place. We ask seniors or someone who's actually out of the place or who's willing to accommodate you or someone. It already depends on the person, and we cannot assure you guarantee housing or something. We'll try our best to try to accommodate you in someone's place. So it's better you look to the options also. So we'll try regarding that.
So yeah, you have to do everything in your capacity to make sure that you come here safely and you have a place to stay. And for people who don't have an option and really can't, we will try our best to see if we can, give you some kind of a temporary place to crash till you get to your apartment or something like that. So just also like be like in a mindset that this may not happen. It's not guaranteed, but we will try our best. And then we are going to have some grad orientations of our own, which is not Georgia Tech department based or anything. So India Club is going to basically have an orientation where all of you can meet up, and then we're going to talk about some things that, some tips that you need to know when you come here. This has been helpful in the previous years. Ashraf can probably talk
Mostly
about-
this will happen in the August second week or that time. So when last year I came as a grad student, so I went to this session. So these are just the good people who actually want to help you out, like you can meet different other department people, or like you can meet your department other people who are coming from India or someone. This is a good session to attend, like to meet different people.
You can also meet a lot of seniors face to face and then
Yeah.
know
We'll
who
try to
is
get at
involved.
least one department senior, like at least a department senior of each department senior. So you can contact with him, connect with him, like ask about the details.
We will also tell you about India Club and what we plan to do for the semester and for the year.
Yeah.
So that's
So yeah, please post any questions that you have on WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegram groups. Is there any other question that you want to cover? Other than that,
There are no more questions. I think we're done.
I think it's a wrap. Thank you so much for attending.
Yeah.
And if you have any feedback, please give it to us so that next time we can improve. And also, if you're interested in helping us out next year to help the incoming students, please reach out to one of us, because it's so helpful for incoming students to know about all this, and they'll be in the same situation that you are in right now. Again, thank you so much for attending.
And we'll see you soon in Georgia Tech.
Yeah, see you guys soon.